So paid assassins hired by the UFC kidnapped Dana White, held him at gunpoint, dragged him to either the Meta Apex or the UFC PI, put him in a studio, sat him down, and forced him to make some fight announcements. And now Dana White obliged. He done this under protest, I assume, because he looked like he would rather be anywhere else. But this is truly astounding. For anybody who's followed the sport for any length of time, you'll know that this is not the medium that we get fight announcements. We get Dana White on his phone using the front camera, putting about as much enthusiasm as I am putting into this. And he announces some fights that are allegedly bangers, and then more often than not goes to war with the live stream comments. He goes to war with the chat saying, "Oh, you guys gonna complain about this, huh?" And yes, we will complain about this. But what people aren't complaining about is the main event that he made for UFC 328, Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland for the middleweight title. Now, the title for this video, it's on the thumbnail probably too, is some sort of rendition of "Are UFC finally listening to the fans," right? And I've put in parentheses probably not, because this is more than likely going to be a one and done style announcement from Dana White. And I say, are they listening to the fans? Because people have been complaining for a long time about how Dana actually announces these fights. So this is a definite upgrade. And okay, you get credit for that. You get points for changing how you announce these fights. What you don't get points for is the rest of this card. But we'll get to that. But we're going to start with our main event, Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. A lot of people are excited about this one, and I do know why, but also I don't know why. Khamzat Chimaev is going to be able to hold down Sean Strickland. I'm sorry, he is. This is just how it goes. And I see people putting a lot of stock in Strickland's ability to grapple. I think we've just seen enough American grappling to know that it's no match for these Caucasus region guys. And whilst Strickland does have better takedown defence than DDP, this isn't even about defending the fucking takedown. This is about what you do once you get taken down. I always remember when UFC tried to kill Nate Diaz and they were going to send him out there to fight Khamzat? Nate Diaz since spoke about that, going, I didn't even plan on defending the takedown. He was talking about, I think it was Cejudo, and if you do this, 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 and this. And he was like, nah, fuck that. He's going to take me down anyway. I'll just fight off my back. I feel like that approach, and I can't believe I'm saying this about Nate Diaz, but that might actually be the best approach here. It's not about defending the takedown and really Strickland's ability to grapple on the feet and keep this standing. It's going to be about what happens when he goes down to the ground. And I think when Khamzat is able to just smudge DDP, get him in multiple crucifixes, and even when he wasn't just laying on top of him, he just held him in a body lock against the cage. Do I think Strickland would put up a better fight than DDP? I do. But I also don't think that Strickland has that threat that DDP had. See in round 5, when it actually looked like, oh my god, there's 30 seconds left and DDP's really pushing it here. I don't think Strickland doesn't have that. Strickland is an absolute decision merchant, and Khamzat's going to be able to out-decision him. He's going to be able to dominate him, and he's going to get the decision win. I don't see this going any other way, and I do actually appreciate the excitement in the community for this fight. Honest to God, I do. I know I'm being very pessimistic here about the probable outcome, but I do genuinely appreciate that people are excited. I'm just over getting excited only to be disappointed when it's see when this is an option for what can happen. Guys like Islam, guys like Khamzat, when they have the ability to not fight, take 0 damage, get the money, keep the belt and leave, they're going to take that every single time. And I think he's just going to be able to do that to Strickland. I don't put stock in American wrestling. Sorry, I don't. And Strickland can be training his grappling as much as he wants to, but unless he has some fucking deadly submission game off the back, then I only see this fight going one way, and that is a Khamzat decision. So where I will give credit to UFC, this is a fight fans have been asking for. I don't know why they're asking for it. I do know why they're asking for it, but I don't need to see Khamzat anymore. I am burnt out on Khamzat, and he only fights once a year, and I'm still fucking just bored. And I used to be a fan of his. See when he fucking took down Whitaker and fucking snapped the entire like bottom layer of his teeth, bottom level of his teeth, insane. But after that DDP fight, and he knows that he can do that to the best in the division, he's just gonna keep doing that to the best in the division. And whilst that kind of action would get you cut if you were lower ranked or even unranked, if you came in and do what Khamzat is gonna do, he would be cut, but he's the champion, so he's bulletproof. So he's just going to keep fucking doing it. So there's an early prediction. Khamzat Chimaev to beat Sean Strickland by unanimous decision, 50-45, because there's no damage getting done. It's going to be 50-45. Next up is the co-main, Volkov versus Cortez Acosta. Look, this is top of the line heavyweight, and that's a sad indictment on heavyweight. I'm not going to pretend to be excited about this match. I think Cortez Acosta's shit. Volkov should be in the position that Cyril Gane is. He clearly beat Cyril Gane, and now he's like, okay, top 5 contender, there you go. I mean, who gives a fuck? Volkov, if he wins, okay, you're ranked number 2. You're still behind Gane. You're still behind Pereira. You are not getting a title shot. Cortez Acosta wins. Okay, well done, buddy. You're going to get fucking Pavlovich next because you're still behind Gane. You're still behind Pereira. Aspinall's the champion, and we're not getting those title fights until like near the end of the year. All these other heavyweights lose. Well, you can't say Volkov lose to Cyril Gane. Volkov beat Cyril Gane. These guys lose to Pereira. So again, this is like top 5 and totally meaningless because these guys just lose to Pereira. So that's the co-main. Are people excited for it? I don't know. I don't think anybody's excited about heavyweight. I really don't. Next up on the card, we have... In fact, I mean, before we get there, I said all these guys lose to Pereira. All these guys lose to Aspinall as well. Cyril Gane had a nice competitive first round. I still think Aspinall would have won, but that's besides the point. We move on to the feature fight, Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. I don't know, to be honest. This is a fine matchup. It's okay for the position on the card too. I don't hate this. It's just kind of like middle rank welterweights. I think Sean Brady is coming back off of a bad loss to Michael Morales. And like, see when I say it's just like a couple of mid-rank welterweights, because I don't see the upwards trajectory for these two. To be honest, when you look at the rest of welterweight, and I know that Shavkat's out, but if Shavkat comes back, does he not beat both these guys? Ian Gary, Islam, JDM, Prates. I mean, fucking Bilal Muhammad is probably competitive, but I think Kamaru Usman fucking beats both these guys too. So, and that was actually Buckley's last fight. A loss to Kamaru Usman. So, look, feature fight, welterweight, I actually said that I was okay with that positioning on the card, but like, see now, I'm looking at it going like, oh man. Because what are we featuring? I don't see the upwards trajectory. I know that Brady beat Leon Edwards. That win has aged, you know. I won't even say positively, negatively, whatever. It's aged after seeing that Prates just fatality in there. But like, who do I have to win this fight? Probably it's going to end a fucking decision. I don't see a knockout here coming from Buckley. I think Brady will just sort of use the Kamaru Usman template, take him down, decision. And this card is oh man, I don't know how other people are feeling this card. I looked at some of the reaction to the matchups, but I didn't actually hear a whole lot of like how this card itself is shaping up. But you look down the card and you see Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov in a rematch. which was a majority draw in their last fight. This is Blachowicz versus Guskov 2. Light heavyweight. I think Blachowicz might nearly be done, to be honest. 2 draws, 2 losses in his last 4. He's getting up there, he's old, and I actually rate Blachowicz. I'm not even saying that he's shit, because he's not. He's like sneakily underrated. But, I mean, can I 100% back him here to beat Guskov after that 10-8 round in the first fight? Definitely not. And I think Guskov might actually win this one. And I don't even rate Guskov that highly. Like, these heavy guys, this card. But I'm not pissed at the matchup. The first fight being a draw, yeah, obviously, sure, you have to rematch it. It wasn't an offensively bad match or anything like that. It was actually not bad. But I think Guskov might take it. And maybe KO. But no, we'll go decision. I think this card is going to be full of decisions. But next up on that card, we have, good lord, King Green. King Green versus Jeremy Stephens in 2026 on a pay-per-view card. Good lord, God bless the people of New Jersey. I wonder how expensive these tickets are, because this shit is... Whew. Right, King Green, we just seen him fucking just slap up his last opponent. I can't even remember who the fuck it was at that last fight night. It was Daniel Zellhuber. Sorry, the CTE is really getting to me. Having to watch all this shit. It's like second-hand CTE just watching this. King Green, Jeremy Stephens, probably another decision, to be honest, where fucking Bobby Green's going to look like the fucking greatest fighter ever and slap up Jeremy Stephens, because Jeremy Stephens isn't really that fucking good. Battle of the records here, like, in fact, there's a game, right? Jeremy Stephens, 28-20, 1 no contest. Bobby Green, let's see, what the fuck is his record? 34-17. How many fights is that between them, right? 34-17 is what? 51 plus 1 draw is 52. Jeremy Stephens, 52 plus 20, we'll just say, is 72, plus the 8 is 80. 100 fights in 1 no contest. 101 fights between these two. So, like, this is going to be, like, standard Bobby Green versus low-level opponent, where he just basically fucking styles on him for 3 rounds, takes it to a decision, 29-28, 30-27, against... I mean, who the fuck is that guy? Jeremy Stephens? Whatever. And, look, there's 6 fights on here, so one of these is going to be a prelim main event. Ateba Gutierrez versus Ozzy Diaz, just a sacrifice to Ateba Gutierrez. He should probably get an uptick in competition, but I think after that last fight where he didn't get a round 1 knockout, they're like, oh no, we need to just give him a layup, an easy layup, a KO. That's what's pending here. That's what awaits Ozzy Diaz. I hope the payment's worth it, buddy, because you're getting fucked up. But that's all happening on Saturday, May the 9th at the Prudential Centre in Newark, New Jersey. But we have more fight announcements, and these are fights, and they have been announced. Like, not all of these are bad. This is a mixed bag for me. First up, we have Aljamain Sterling against Yusuf Zalal. Where is Yair Rodriguez? And why is, like, Aljamain fighting down the rankings? I don't understand. I feel like we could be doing more with him. But then again, I don't give a fuck about watching Aljamain Sterling, to be honest, in 2026. He's on Twitter a lot complaining about not getting any fights. And I honestly don't give a shit, to be honest. Like, I think Aljamain's going to be able to win this, and I think he's going to use his wrestling. I don't see a submission coming. I think this is just going to be grappling to decision. Although it is a main event, so over 5 rounds. Nah, decision. Like, when in doubt, Aljamain Sterling, you know a decision's coming. And Yusuf Zalal, I know I'm being quite dismissive of him here. He has some good submissions on his record. And you would think, okay, if this turns into a grappling match, you might fancy Zalal. I have seen enough Aljamain Sterling to know that this is going to go to a decision. So this is a main event over 5 rounds, and I'm not eagerly anticipating this. One I am eagerly anticipating, and possibly for the wrong reasons, Quillan Southkild versus Beneil Dariush. I spoke about Quillan after the Australia card. Was it 326? Volkanovski Lopez, one of their many battles, and soon to be one of their many, many battles, because I don't put it past UFC to make that fight again. But we had Quillan beat Jamie Malarkey. I'm sure he took him down, subbed him round 1. Impressive. And that was off of his head kick KO, which again, very impressive. In my reaction, I said, I hope that he gets just another sort of gimme fight, right? Because he's getting a bit of hype behind him now. And people are looking at him going, right, this guy's a real prospect and we could probably see him moving up towards the rankings. I wanted him to get another fight outside of the rankings before. I think I actually mentioned the name Beneil Dariush. I think it was in my reaction to 326. It could have been in one of the matchmaking videos or the ranking videos. I can't remember. But I said, I think Beneil Dariush needs one more KO loss. He was supposed to fight Manuel Torres. I thought perfect. And I genuinely, I think this was like word for word, that Quillan needs to beat another can before then facing a down on his luck Beneil Dariush. Like, that is a down on his luck Dariush. But now I don't know if this is one step too early, because I thought, okay, Dariush is going to get smoked by Torres and then fucking sent to PFL. He's going to have to go to the door. Bye-bye, Dariush. Oh, yeah, and by the way, on your way out, you're going to need to get past Quillan Southkild. And Quillan would have put him on a fucking highlight reel, and that would have been it. He would have went to PFL, and Quillan moves up into the rankings, and everybody's a winner. I don't want to lose a prospect, right? Particularly one that is very exciting, like Quillan Southkild. And do I think he can beat Dariush? Yes. Do I think this is going to be as easy as what some people are making it out to be? No. But like, if I'm betting on it, I'm putting money on Quillan by KO. But this is one of the ones I am actually eagerly anticipating, because I think Dariush has suffered a few round 1 KOs. He has fallen victim to a few of these guys. Charles Oliveira done it to him. BSD knocked him out in seconds, I'm sure, didn't he? This one could be another one to the list. Like, round 1 KO Quillan. I think it's going to happen, but I'm not as confident on it happening this time as I would be for it happening in, 2 fights time if Quillan got fed somebody. I mean, we're feeding people to Teba Gutierrez. Like, we can't do that for Quillan. But if Dariush had suffered at the hands of Torres, and I hate talking about people like this, I really do, because, I mean, he needs to live with it after the fact. But if he had suffered to Manuel Torres and then faced Quillan, I would feel a lot better about this. But this should be a good matchup, and one that I am going to watch, eagerly anticipating this fight. So I like this matchup. I am a wee bit nervous because I just don't want to lose another prospect going up against a crafty vet, and then you're like, oh, it was too much too soon. And then the hype will be off if he loses. Right now, he has a little bit of hype building, and if he loses, the fans will turn, because this is what it's become. We've become a boxing fan base, right? It will turn. But I'm looking forward to this one. Next up, we have Allen versus Costa. Now, this is headlining an Apex card. We just ran through UFC 328. You're telling me we couldn't sub anything on that card? for this. Like, nothing. We couldn't substitute literally near anything else on that card, probably besides the main event, right? We couldn't sub any of that for this. Okay. I appreciate the activity here from both guys. Both guys actually fought recently, didn't they? Allen against Gene Silva, close defeat, even though the memes made it seem like it was just one-sided domination. But he's ranked number 8, coming up against Costa, number 12. I think this is going to be a good fight. I'm glad that this is going to be 5 rounds. I don't even know who I fancy to win this, because it feels like recency bias just to go with, oh man, Costa is the hot hand here. He is coming off a nice win. I think he could beat Brendan Allen. I do think he could do it, but I think fucking Brendan Allen, Arnold Allen, like, see this activity, I'm worried for Arnold Allen's hands. They are made out of paper mache. I have said this multiple times, and this activity is either going to make or break him, because they're going to literally break again. They're going to absolutely smash like glass. Or, you know what? I'm picking fucking Costa to win. Sorry. I think Costa can get this done. I think we're actually going to see a finish here too, to be honest. I think TKO finish, win for Costa, probably in 3 rounds, maybe 4. We might make it to the later rounds, but I like this fight again. Nice fight. So that's what, a 2-1 record for these fights here. Aljamain Sterling versus Alao. Yeah, okay, it'll probably be fine, but I'm not that fucking hyped for it. Quillen versus Beneil. Yep, yes please, sign me up. Allen versus Costa. Yep, sign me up. So we're 2-1 here. Next up though, we have, so moving on, these next 3 fights are on the Chinese card, and I mean, who gives a shit? Song Yadong versus Figueiredo. Again, I respect the activity. I think Song Yadong is going to win this. We have Zhang versus Menefield. Like, they just want to fucking lay up for Zhang. He get calf kicked, didn't he, by fucking Johnny Walker or something like that at the last Chinese card, and I mean, stunned silence in the arena, right? It was hilarious. They just want to lay up here for Zhang, and I think he'll get it done. He will beat Menefield. And next up, Jesus fucking Christ, Taliesin Teixeira's still here? Get the fuck out of this company. He's taking on Pavlovich. Why? How the fuck, right, do you trip, stumble and fall over Tuivasa and then get the rank number 3? Unless they're literally doing this so that Teixeira gets knocked the fuck out by Pavlovich, and this is like a punishment for that Tai Tuivasa fight. I have no fucking idea why this is happening. Teixeira shouldn't even fucking be here. Like, why? Anybody outside of, I was going to say top 10 heavyweight, top 5 heavyweight, shouldn't even be here. We can maybe spare Josh Hockett, and we'll see how many leg locks Walter Walker can get done. But besides that, no. I'm just fucking heavyweights, no. Finally, see, now that's a few losses in the column. Now I think we're hyped about 2 of these fights, and what's that, 3 on the bounce now that are just like, oh, who gives a fuck. Lastly, Bilal Muhammad is up against Gabriel Bonfirm, and fuck, I think this is a main event as well. I think this one's going 5 rounds. Does anybody need to see Bilal Muhammad anymore? See, I spoke about Aljamain Sterling earlier, and both guys are actually in top 5 of their divisions, but does anybody like need to see this anymore? Like, you guys can leave if you want. Like, oh man, another one that, yeah, cool, I don't give a shit either way. Like, I look at the top of the division waiting for Shavkat to come back, and our top 5 is literally going to be like, Islam is the champion. He might actually be fighting Ilya. So when Shavkat comes back, it's going to be Shavkat, JDM, Ian Gary, Morales and Pratas. And everything after that is just like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. You can stay if you want, but you can also leave. But that's it. That's it for the video. Dana White made some announcements. Is he listening to the fans? Maybe in terms of the main events, but he ain't listening in terms of fucking filling out the rest of these cards because they're absolute shit. It's turned into boxing. It really has done, where we're just here for a main event that probably won't deliver. This was always the thing with boxing, right? And why I hate boxing. Besides the fact that it's not fun to watch. But you ever speak to someone about boxing and the big fight's coming up, it's whoever, player A versus player B, or player 1 versus player 2, and the hype is there. You watch the fight on Saturday night, and then or Sunday night, and you turn up to work the next day and you say, did you watch the fight last night? Yeah, it was shit, wasn't it? And then you just fall for it over and over and over again, and that's the cycle where you get hyped up for the big boxing match between these guys, and then you go, oh man, that was actually terrible, wasn't it? Because you don't give a fuck about anything else on the undercard. This was the thing with UFC. You used to be able to watch a card and think, well, you know what, the main event didn't deliver, but fucking hell, did you see that undercard? And now we don't even have that anymore, where we're reliant solely on these main events. And even if the undercard's decent, there's no names on it that you give a fuck about. So it's like, who cares? But that's probably another video in and of itself. But that's it for today. I know that this was a long one, and I know that it was a little late, but fashionably late. We're a few days past the news, but I wanted to truly collect my thoughts before putting this video up, and it had been a few days. It might actually have been nearly a week since we had a retro review up, so I wanted to get a couple of those up as well for those people that enjoy those. They are my favourite videos to make, after all. But that's it. Like this video, comment your own thoughts below on Dana White and his matchmaking. What do you think? Or is it even Dana White that makes these matches anymore? Who knows? In fact, comment that. Comment who makes these fucking matchups now. But look, share with a friend. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. And I will see you all next time.